I am Todd from GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And I am Tony Russo from OceanCity.com. And not quite as on the nose as Todd was. I was a little surprised by he just pow. Usually, I do a beer podcast, and usually it's like 10 seconds of me staring terrifiedly into the camera, and then I do the introduction, and then I just go back and I cut that 10 seconds off. So I make it look like I'm right on the nose. But Todd was right on the nose, so that's impressive. All sorts of fun stuff. We're continuing on with our social media or content creation mode. So we'll be talking a lot about that today. I want to talk a little bit about Berlin. I was in Berlin for Second Friday, which I haven't been for quite some time. And I had the pleasure of bringing my wife, who hasn't been coming to Berlin every day as I have for the last 2 weeks, and she's like, "Holy crap! Like it's been just 3 years that I've been not working here."
Oh, really?
And in those,
so she hasn't
years,
been here, and
why would she? Right?
Right. Yeah.
And well, the thing is that in my other jobs, I was covering Third Friday in Salisbury, and Apple Scrapple in Scrappleton or wherever the hell that was. So I didn't get to really come to Berlin very much, and just huge difference. We went to Patrick Henry's opening.
Yeah. Down by the what's it called?
Yeah,
the train station.
The train station thing, and I'll do a story on that, and I'll be talking about that. But the reason that I wanted to talk about coming to Berlin was because Berlin has kind of developed its own, they don't have to have Second Friday anymore.
Huh.
People will come.
Right? Yeah.
And what's really fun about that is that, and I was telling Kelly this, when I first started, not when I first started here, but yeah, when I first started here, they didn't want to have a Second Friday in November because they had holiday hearts. No, because they had holiday hearts night, and they thought that people wouldn't come to Berlin twice in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Second Friday, I think it's like that every Friday. I don't think that everybody knew that it was Second Friday.
Right.
I think that the restaurants are always going to be packed-ish.
Yeah, things are definitely doing very well.
And the reason that I think that that's a story and kind of a thematic for what we're talking about is it wasn't one thing. It wasn't that they put "Come to Second Friday" on a billboard.
Right.
It was just they created these stories about how cool it was to be in Berlin for Second Friday, and they told them, we have more to do with that, I think, than people are going to ever give us credit for.
I have received a little bit of that. And of course,
but it's a story that we told over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Berlin, Second Friday, arts, and people moved into town.
Yeah.
And Michael Day. Michael Day gets all the credit, but I'm just saying that he had the plan, and we acted something as an amplifier. And the point is that it's something that doesn't have to be reinforced as much anymore. It's just like, oh, don't forget, Berlin is a place. It's
taken and it's known.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that assessment. Obviously, we're here at the GCFL headquarters.
Right. Here in Berlin.
in Berlin. And I think that is, the recognizing Berlin as a cool place to be, by not just saying that it's a cool place, but actually the people here being cool.
Right. Yeah. But it feels like you want to, it feeds itself.
Yeah.
It's something that you want to do because it's being done, and it's being done well because it's something that you want to do well.
Right.
I'm just making sure my phone is off because it wasn't.
Well, I like that you brought up that you were here in town for an event. Obviously, talking about events and happenings around Delmarva has always been our theme.
Right.
But now we're taking a more decided turn towards talking about.
We're just justifying what we do during the week.
Yeah, because it's our job. It's how we're getting paid. But I think doing this podcast and doing the live Google Hangout that we've been doing for a while, and now we're doing the recorded version as well, so that I don't have to be right on time.
Right. Yeah, you can fix it
when I come on. That is all encompassing, or that has a lot to do with what we do in terms of promoting events for GCFL and for municipalities and for Ocean City,
right?
And for all of that. So what we do makes sense,
right? And so one of the things that I did this week, speaking of getting out and about, is I've started this on this very day, which is Tuesday when we record. I'm calling it Happy Hour Adventures. I've done 2 so far.
Yeah.
Last week was the Pit and Pub.
Yeah.
And tonight is the 9th Street Tap House.
Oh, nice.
And it's cool because, like, I've never been to any of these places. And so just a fun story, like, the Buxy's people really liked the story about being at Happy Hour at Buxy's. And it functions, and they didn't pay me to go. I paid for my drinks. And you helped because I'm going to deduct them from my taxes.
Right.
But they appreciated it, and it didn't function as an ad. It wasn't paid for as an ad.
Right.
But everyone involved likes it.
Yeah.
You know, and they're happy to share it. And they are sharing it, and it's getting shared in a way that Taco Tuesday. I mean, it's Taco Tuesday but if you say it's Taco Tuesday and you put a picture of, a taco up there on Facebook, you might get some traction,
Right.
But I put, hey, I was at Buxy's, and like everybody's like, oh, dude, I totally miss Buxy's because I'm in Pennsylvania now, and it makes them think about it. And so when they come down in, August or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, that's right, Buxy's. I don't know if they'll still have Taco Tuesday, but the point is that it's in their head.
Right. And then it's the authentic post, which I've been writing a lot about or talking about for this class. The importance of the authenticity and it coming across as a story as opposed to just a promotion.
Right.
And everything has some element of promotion in it because of what we do.
And there's also has to be a point of view.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think that if I had gone there and it had been really shitty, I just wouldn't have written anything at all.
Right.
And I would have gone back to my boss and I would have said, you know what?
It was really shitty.
It was really shitty.
So Tony shows up and there's no story.
Yeah, I guess I probably shouldn't have said I'll be at the 19th Street Tap House tonight. Let's cross our fingers. I'll just have a shot when I get there and things will be better. But what I found is, because I write for the Metropolitan magazine as well.
Right.
And those stories are inevitably bad. Not awful, but not great, And the reason is because I know I have to make them addy. Because if they don't sound bad and addy, then they're going to make me do a rewrite. So, right. But it's very, very hard. It's hard for me to write addy, and I don't, because I'm not feeling it. And if I'm not feeling it, it comes out in the text, and I feel awkward about it. So 99% of the people don't notice, but I notice.
Right.
Like I can tell the difference between what's good and what's bad. And so if I'm going to do a good job for my assignments, then I'm going to have to try to write a good story.
Right.
Pittsburgh has an age. Who knew, right? So I wrote a story about a Pittsburgh bar.
Go figure.
I wrote a story about
in Ocean City.
Yeah, in Ocean City. Ocean City doesn't have an H. So I left the H off of Pittsburgh in the first draft, but fortunately, someone pointed it right out to me, which was cool. And it was like, someone said spell Pittsburgh. I was just writing my story, and Pittsburgh. I haven't written about Pittsburgh before, I'll be honest. The point was that enough people saw it that somebody's like, hey, like, oh, cool, I'll fix it,
Yeah.
But like, lots of people read it and lots of people shared it, and they didn't share it because they wanted everyone to know about Taco Tuesdays. They shared it because, and I don't know if I called it Here There Be Tacos. But
instead of Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's a story. Have you ever heard Here There Be Dragons? Have I told you this story before?
I don't know the story.
Okay. Sometimes you'll see on pirate maps, Here There Be Dragons, or Here There Be Monsters. That's Here There Be Tigers is probably the most famous phrase. And what it would be is when the cartographers got to the end of where they were going and they didn't know, they would just write, Here There Be Tigers. This is as far as I got.
Right.
And I'm sure that there's something horrible beyond here, because they wanted to do the next map and they wanted people to be afraid of. Right. So when you see Here There Be Tigers or Here There Be Dragons, it's like, we've gone as far as we can go. Yeah. So I like the little weird reference to me and the 7 other people that know that. To Here There Be Tacos, it's like, we've come for tacos and that's as far as we can go.
Right.
So
Because it invokes the sense of adventure.
Right, it's adventure for tacos. But it wasn't. But point is, it was. I think it was done okay, and other people thought it was done okay. The story was,
not the tacos.
No one. The tacos I didn't have.
Yeah. Because here there'd be tacos.
Because here there'd be tacos. Well, you know what? I had actually. That's how the story started off. Because it's all you can eat taco. Now it's going to sound like an.
No, that I didn't read the story.
Right. Why would you?
I've never read it.
No. But. It was like all you can eat tacos, and I ate before I went because I was going to Ocean City and I want to make sure I have a little food in me.
Right. A bracer.
And it didn't occur to me. And I did the same thing at the Pit and Pub where, well, I wouldn't have eaten the chicken because I generally don't eat meat, but it was half price a chicken night at the Pit and Pub on Tuesday, and they had these huge pot pies, and I got it there and I ordered some onion rings, and I see this monster pot pie come out. I'm like, I'm missing out.
Yeah.
But the story, and again, the story is kind of fun about me missing out on the pot pie. But it's not called. It's called Winner Winner, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
So anyway, the point is writing stuff that you wanting to do a good job telling the story is kind of the first thing.
Right.
And that's the spaghetti that you're throwing at the wall. You're not throwing colors or catchphrases at the wall because they're not going to go. They don't have the same longevity. Like this story about Bucksies will be relevant forever because I didn't put how much tacos cost.
Right.
So
right. Well, and it's funny because you had also sent over an article that you shared with me from On the Media, and they were talking about Upworthy and how they're trying to stay away from the clickbaity stuff. And, the takeaway that I had was, the authenticity. I think when you write in your voice, it's an authentic voice. We were talking to our other friend, Allie. She has a very, distinct voice, and she, you get recognized as that. So putting together this class for the Berlin Chamber, and, and it has a lot of our philosophy in it in terms of how we do things for ourselves and how we suggest we do, our clients do things,
mm-hmm.
like, the Starbird or whoever it is. And authenticity is always the paramount.
Right.
You mentioned last week, and I really like the difference between cultural and episodic, and so how I combined those was, every business has a personality, and people enjoy authentic personalities, and then you have to have a body of work of content that supports that, and that has to be authentic because it's transparent otherwise.
Exactly, and it smells funny. I plugged On the Media to Todd off the air for no good reason, and also like if you're listening to this, you probably know about it. But for the 10 of you that don't, On the Media is probably my favorite newsy podcast, and it looks at the way that newspapers and that journalists. It looks at journalism, but it also looks at how to finance journalism,
which is important.
Which is important because otherwise we don't do it. I mean, we like to write, but not that much. So finding a way to keep things going is important. And so what Upworthy is doing is they're doing these because they've done these videos and they've done very well with these videos, and they've done some investigative videos, not hardcore investigative. But they've done some investigative and they've done some informational videos, like political things and newsy things. But in order to finance that, they're now working with, like the one they talked about was Whirlpool. And so they're doing a commercial for Whirlpool, but it's not, hey, look at this dryer. What's cool about the dryer? Right. What they're doing is they're doing a little movie about this family who happens to have Whirlpool products and how they split up the chores. And it's not about Whirlpool, but Whirlpool plays a part in the story. And it's not hidden. They say they have the Whirlpool logo right on there, but it doesn't look like an ad. It looks like a story because it is a story about a product. And telling a story about a product is different from running an ad. Yeah.
Now there's it's in my experience, they call it the Red Bull model. Red Bull is terrible.
Right.
I think we can agree. Like, I don't think that I've ever purposefully consumed Red Bull.
Right.
However, their marketing strategy is to create a media company that tells stories that, sort of supports their ideas, philosophies, culture.
Right.
a great example of using that Red Bull media, that method is Patagonia. Here's another great brand where you sit down, you watch a video. It's just, it actually ended up being a very popular video of this guy talking about his dog, and used to come and hang out by the surf beach with him. He took him traveling all over the world, and it's about, and it's told from the story of the perspective of the dog. And like the guy actually had cancer, and the dog was there for him, and oh my God, it's just this incredible thing. And there's a lot of product placement and that sort of thing. And then at the end, it's just a very simple, produced by Patagonia.
Right.
And it couldn't be a better example of how to tell a story, associate your brand with something, because like all of that surf and, guys with dogs traveling, like that is what their brand is all about.
Right. And it's already compelling.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a lot to make it compelling.
Yeah.
You just have to make it like a little more personal.
Yeah.
You just have to put a name on the dog, put a name on the guy, or put a persona on the dog,
right,
persona on the guy. And that'll be plenty to get you by. And people come away informed. And the question that they were asking me on the media is like, how much is too much when it comes to being emotional? How many times can you flick a person's heartstrings before they get exhausted from it? I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not a flicking the heartstrings kind of person. But that's why there are a bunch of different stories to tell. I like to tell about people who are, I did one cancer story already. I'll do a cancer story any day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't need an excuse to do a cancer story.
Right.
But I just want to talk about what's going on, and I want to make you appreciate what's going on. I want to make you see at least why I appreciate what's going on. And it doesn't necessarily have to be emotional,
right,
to catch you or to stick. It just has to be something that engages you in a way. It doesn't have to be. It could be, oh well, I didn't know that, or oh, isn't that cool? It's kind of. It almost feels. I put up pictures of sunsets 3-4 times a day.
Right.
Thousands of people. Thousands of people click on the sunsets.
Yeah.
Without fail.
Yeah.
And we do these videos, like the videos of the beach. And then tens of thousands of people like the videos. And so I suggested to my boss, I'm like, we could put a tag at the end of it. And she's like, then it's an ad, you know? And she's like, people don't want it to be an ad, right. She's like, I don't think they would complain, but those aren't the kind of ads we do. Right. That's like a little cheap. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've only been in the content creation business for 6 weeks. Yeah. I'm still learning my way around. But it made me feel really good about like what we do. It's like, no,
like standing by that.
Exactly. Yeah. That's like what a comedian would call an easy laugh. Right. That's an easy laugh.
Yeah.
We do lots of stuff. That's just not one of the things we're doing. And not to say that we won't ever do that, but we probably won't ever put on Facebook like this, like a 14-second or 35-second thing and then pop it at the end. But we might, I want to do more videos where they are. I want to do more sponsored videos.
Yeah.
And again, just to tag at the end, because I can't. Again, I'm not a movie maker. I'm not going to make a movie about, I don't know, Bull on the Beach or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I didn't want to say Bucksies again, but I don't know if Bull on the Beach is one of our people. But you know what I mean. I had Red Bull, I guess, is where I got. I'm like, where did Bull on the Beach? Is that even still a place? So I don't have any compelling stories that I can tell on video. That's what you do. That's not what I do. But if I do a video and it can be sponsored by someone, right? Like if they could pay me to go out and make these videos that I want to make,
right?
That I could do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where that conversation went. So it was like, here's a terrible ham-fisted idea. And my boss was like, yes, as a matter of fact, it is a terrible ham-fisted idea. But I don't disagree that we could have sponsored videos, but we have to find a different way to do it that's not
well, and you have to do it in a way that is, has the production level or quality that people appreciate.
Right.
If you just tag something on the end of a cell phone video, that then people feel slighted.
Right.
If they have a story that's got, epic shots and, you know.
Or a narrative. I'm going to have more like
narrative,
with a narrative than with an epic shot.
So, I mean, then they're like, that makes sense. That's understandable. You know, and it's going to reinforce that. And then, you know, the engagement, you know, translates back to whoever the sponsor was, and they can appreciate that people are seeing stuff, and,
right?
You know, and that's
what I have to continue to remind myself about. It's just like you in the newspaper business, it was always like, you know, what are you doing to increase sales? I'm like, just a reporter. You know?
Yeah,
I just go to the meeting,
and
so now I want to kind of participate, and they're like, no, we'll sell the stuff. You just make it real.
Yeah.
You know, you just make it look pretty.
Yeah.
You know, we'll take care of the rest. And it's odd for me to not be like constantly thinking of like the new sales.
Right.
Angle. For me, it's just tell cool stories about Ocean City, and the rest will follow. And it's just still like, you know, doesn't. It feels too. I shouldn't be having as much fun. I think is that I shouldn't be enjoying it as much as I am. And
well, that's a little bit about the philosophy. And you had something else that you brought up that I was gonna.
Oh yes, the Snapchat
steer us towards.
Sure.
And it actually coincides with this. I've said for the past year that live media is the next frontier.
Right.
And then Periscope and Meerkat came out, and it seemed to be going that way. And Facebook has an automatic live thing with the new iPhone something or other. And it's just, I saw a great example of how this is working, and it actually is causing me to rethink how it works. So right now we're live.
We are.
And we're on Google Hangout, and people are watching. But I'm not always thrilled with the quality, and I like to, you know, add some things in and that sort of thing, being the production guy that I am. So we're also recording it. So what I've realized is that the live, and especially with the Periscope, and this gets to Snapchat too,
right,
is a great way to capture people in the moment. But it's more of like a teaser promotional tool,
right?
To get them to do something else, because it's all about call to action and that sort of thing. So the great example I saw is I recently downloaded the Periscope app. I got one from Dogfish. I'm like, ooh. I checked out the notification. They were starting Sam's new web series, and now
that's how I drink it.
Yeah,
that's how Let's Drink It. Yeah.
Great show. And what they did is they had somebody periscoping from the pub in Rehoboth, and it was the intro of the show. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know, and people are commenting and making questions and engaging like that you can on Periscope. And then the guy who's doing it, probably some just media guy or bartender or something like that, turns around and says, for more, go to the website and check it out. Absolutely. Because you're not going to sit there on mobile and watch a half-hour show.
No.
You're not going to, watch Tony Wright for.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny. I when we were talking about what we could do, because like I said, we do get a lot of these Facebook views, but I want to, not only do I want to convert them, I also want to make better videos. There's nothing wrong with a picture of the water.
Yeah.
But that's all there is, right? And so what I that's exactly what I said I'd like to do is because we're going to start producing a show that we're going to call Ocean City in 60 Seconds. And probably for now, it's going to be me reading what's going on.
Right.
For a minute. And then, cameras over the top. So, but on Facebook, it'll be like, want to know what's going on in Ocean City in 60 seconds? Click here. Probably less lame than that.
A little bit better.
Yeah, but the point is, we'll do the caching. We'll do the caching on Facebook, but we won't try to put the whole video on Facebook, because that's again, a lot of times you want to make that choice. John Oliver, I mean, he's a genius or whatever, but the late night guys generally do that very well.
Yeah,
they're like, here's our YouTube video. Here's a little bit of it on Facebook, because Facebook doesn't let you put. Yeah. It does. It doesn't like it when you put YouTube videos.
Right.
There. So they'll put a little bit up and say, take it, take it to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
And watch the rest of our YouTube page. And you can watch the whole show, or you can watch, and then after that, there's more and more and more content. And if you were real, like I have a book due in 3 weeks, so I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos because it's either that or write the damn book. And we know that's not going to happen.
Anything to put it off.
God. I wrote almost a chapter on Saturday. I sat down, I wrote.
What was your goal last week? Didn't you have a goal that you were?
Yeah, I wanted to do 5,000 words last week. I did 2,500 Saturday afternoon.
You're halfway there.
I'm halfway
to your goal.
To my goal from last week, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I owe 10,000.
But now you need 75 to, yeah.
Because it's going to be about 32,000 words, and it's due on December 7th.
Right.
So now I just need 29,500 more words. And I'll
Good
be
math.
fine. Yeah.
Good math.
Oh, thanks.
But
again, I can either write or do the math.
Right.
So.
But with the live stuff and getting it out there and teasing it, one of the great things about Snapchat for brands is it's the only. What was the name of the article that?
I have it right here. Because that's what was cool about it. It's a little reminder that if you want to sell stuff in another 10 years, you're going to have to find a better way to do it.
Well, what do they say? Millennials, which everybody hates apparently, are going to be 50% of the purchasing population within the next number of years.
And they don't know what, and Coca-Cola doesn't know how to get to them. And they're panicking a little bit. It says why your kids love Snapchat and why you should let them. And the premise is that because it's immediate and it's not, it says, I'll just read it. No perfectly curated lives, no friend counts, no likes. Snapchat is all about interaction.
Yes. And so it's about interaction. The other thing that I like about it, and you would probably too, being a narrative type person, is if we're doing an event for Shell Shocked, let's say, and we're taking Instagrams of the band, the oysters, the beer, and there's the first thing you're going to see is the beer. And then you're going to scroll further down and you're going to see the oysters. And then maybe you get sick and tired of it. And you don't even see the Instagram of the band.
Right.
So what the difference is with Snapchat is, no perfectly curated list, but it tells a story from beginning to end. So when you...
I'm sorry. So last time I used Snapchat, you can only send it to one person and it deleted itself after 7 seconds. But now it sounds more like a more usable Vine. What's the difference between Snapchat and Vine?
More usable Vine. It's actually harder to you don't have public you don't have a public account. It's not like you have to friend somebody to see anything that they're putting on. And it does delete after 24 hours. And it only stays up for or less, depending on how you set it. So there's a great example of the Jets-Bills game, the NFL using Snapchat. And now what they're able to do is they're able to curate from...
Right, they've got...
So they have fans on the upper deck, going, woo! And then they have, players, sitting in the locker room, with headphones on, getting ready for the game. And but it's still, as soon as you click on that, it starts at the beginning and goes through the course of whatever's been recorded up to that point. So, it's a start, middle, and end. If you catch it in the middle, you just have the start and middle. But for that reason, it's a good tool for telling stories. I actually don't use it a whole lot, but I try to use it when there are big events to just kind of document the day. And
so it's still is 7 seconds, it's 14 seconds, it's 2 hours. What are the...
You can set it from, I think, 15 seconds down to 1 second for how long each one. You can either add it to your story, which is available to be seen.
That's how it's different from Vine.
Yeah. So if you add it to your story, it's available to be seen by everybody who you are following or who is following you.
Right.
Or you can send it just to individuals. And the interesting thing is, I think this is probably a carryover from, when people were worried about the whole, sexting portion of it.
Right.
Is you can send it to 10 people if you select those 10 people, but you don't know who else is seeing it.
Right.
And nobody knows who else has seen it. There's no likes. There's no view counts. There's no, so there's no real numbers involved.
I've got to say that plays well for me. Like I'm a big no numbers guy. Like like we were talking about at the beginning, it's like we're going to tell good stories,
right?
And you're going to have to trust us that good stories are going to be enough, for a while.
Yeah.
Although it does again kind of feed my ego a little bit to look at the likes and the shares. Like when I go to a story and I see that it's been shared, a couple hundred times. I'm like, yeah, right.
Well, and that is.
You feel I feel good that people, because I know what it takes for me to share a story, which is a lot. I'm not.
That is the currency that people and brands deal with right now. What I've been doing and talking about digital marketing is the importance of looking at the small number. So you might get you might have.
I've heard that.
So many views, you might have so many likes, but things like the shares. I mean, those are people who are actually engaged and that sort of thing. And that's what you should really, as a business, hang your hat on and be work. So you want to put stuff out there that's good,
right? That
is shareable,
and because it really isn't. It isn't unusual for us to have 1,100 likes and like 70 shares.
Yeah.
And there's this one woman, and I'm making a story up about her in my head. She likes and comments on everything we post.
Yeah.
And she says the same thing. I love Ocean City, Maryland ever since I was a little girl.
Do you think that's a bot?
No, it's a person.
It's a real person.
I don't know if she has it set or if she's that. Yeah. You'll have to look at Ocean City. Anyone who's watching, both of you who are watching, look at oceancity.com and say if you think she doesn't feel like a bot. She posts things that go with her face.
Okay, like little old lady things.
I like country and western things and War on Christmas kind of thing.
Well, good. That will be interesting to see. We'll snip you out, you little bot lady.
Oh no, we can find her. I'm sure I could send her an email anytime. I mean, she's nice. She always likes us, and she always says nice
things.
things.
Shouldn't make fun.
No, we shouldn't. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that they also mentioned on the media thing is that they are that NPR has established a care squad.
Care squad,
like that focuses on like kind of social sharing, like all right. So the idea is for them, like they live on subscription. They're a subscription, they're a free subscription. Like I don't pay and I still get the same thing as you, and you pay every month or whatever.
Right.
And so the idea is how to convert people from being listeners who don't support to listeners who do support. Right. And it's right in with the idea of sharing a social post, which is how can we track how effective this is, and like how people respond to it. And again, it doesn't have to be just tugging at the heartstrings. It's like are you familiar with slacktivism?
Yeah.
All right. Did they talk about slacktivism in the other?
No, I was just reading something about like how does changing your profile picture on Facebook actually help it?
Right, and the pro slacktivism argument that I heard was that when people so slacktivism is clicking like or sharing something instead of going out and doing something. Yeah. And people are like, when people shit on slacktivism, I don't know if it was the BuzzFeed guy or not BuzzFeed, what is it? Upworthy. I don't know if it was the Upworthy guy or it was during this Care Squad, but they were saying it's like the premise is that there are millions of people who are just about to write their congressman, but then they're like, I'll like instead.
This is the easier way to go.
Yeah, and it's like that's a false equivalence.
There are people of action, and then there are people of
absolutely. And so what they're hoping to do is find out what it takes to get someone from liking something to sharing something to committing to pay $20 a month to be members of NPR,
right,
or whatever.
Right.
So keep an eye out. They'll be reporting on what they do. I believe it's called NPR Cares, but I don't know.
It's interesting. Just read an article today, sort of along those same lines, but different. TripAdvisor has, so we manage a bunch of TripAdvisor accounts for different bars and restaurants, and they've sent out notice to owners and people in the hospitality business. And they're talking about that they have a content integrity team that's going out there because, that Yelp and TripAdvisor has been sort of riddled, I think Yelp more so, with just like people posing as somebody that's important because they're a Yelper and they have,
right.
They're a level 5 Scientology. No, it's not Scientology,
but
it's similar. But that they're out there, posting and posting bad things. So yeah, so I just love the expression. I wanted to bring that, the content integrity team.
There was a suit in England.
Yeah.
France.
Both of those are
countries.
Not here.
No, but it was a Yelp suit.
Oh yeah.
It was someone. Someone wrote a bad review on Yelp. It was demonstrated that they had never been to the place, and the restaurant sued them.
Yeah.
For real money, $10,000 or something like, And I think it was,
damages.
Like $10,000 for bad reviews. And the question was like, why is Yelp kind of cooperating? And the reason is because it's for that very reason. It's like, if anybody can go on Yelp and say whatever they want,
right?
Not only whether it's true or not, but whether they've even been there or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is kind of a problem. There was a great sign I saw that's like, the worst food in town according to one dude on Yelp. They had it out in front of their thing, and Yelp has to trade on its credibility, and it's losing it. The difficult thing about places like Yelp, I don't know TripAdvisor so well, but I do know a little bit about Yelp, having been in the service industry for a while, is that, you only hear, no one ever writes about what a good time they have. It's very rare,
right,
for you to write about what a good time you have. And people who are self-styled reviewers,
yeah.
You know how you're always reading the movie reviews before you go to a movie? No? Right. Because why?
Because I want to have my own opinion of this.
Absolutely. But, and so you might read a movie review of a big movie, but just because you either want to see it slammed or praised.
Yeah.
You're
looking for something to back up your own
absolutely
opinion.
And so that is how it can be. It can be a little bubbly. And I think when restaurants stop worrying about Yelp, which happens, like some places are like, we don't participate,
right.
Fine. Put on whatever you want. It's not going to affect what we do. We don't believe in Yelp. They like the sign. Like if you put a sign like that in front of your restaurant, it's a little message to the Yelp community that, like, we don't care what you think.
Right.
Now, if we don't care about what we do,
right,
we don't care what you think.
And if you're setting that message to, as upfront as like, we're not, go ahead and write a review, we're not going to respond.
Right.
That's it. That's an interesting take.
And you kind of just to take yourself out of it,
Well, and I think
TripAdvisor is different because a lot of times that goes with, like, you reserve through TripAdvisor, and then they're like, "Did you go? How was it?"
Well, and I think the thing that's plaguing that industry is there being claims or optimization people who are out there saying, hey, we'll help you get better reviews, maybe even delete bad reviews, and
if you put in enough, if you put in enough good reviews, it'll drive down the bad reviews. And what's interesting about that, and just because I like to bring it back to me because I'm obnoxious, is that what we do is the opposite of that. What we do is we're just going to continue to tell stories, And I think that at some point, Yelp and TripAdvisors in places like this were saying, well, we're going to do the end around, they're not going to fool you with ads.
Right.
We're going to tell you the real thing, but they don't have, I'll say it until the day I can't work anymore. Professionals need to do professional stuff. I know you have spell check. I know you can spell Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm still a better writer than lots of people who can spell Pittsburgh.
Right.
And because the guy was a little snarky on the Pittsburgh thing, and I was wrong. But my thought was, people have been paying me for over a decade
to write.
They don't pay me to spell Pittsburgh right.
Right.
And you do it for free.
And your perfect record of perfect spelling ended with Pittsburgh. How could you tell me?
I've spelled things wrong in the book. I actually haven't read my book in the new edition because I don't want to know if there's anything else spelled wrong. I couldn't exact. And you see, I always call them typos, even if I do Pittsburgh, or I don't know how to spell Pittsburgh. We'll call that a thing now, right? I mean, I will for the rest of my life, but it's not that I don't. It doesn't say anything about, I don't think, my intelligence, whether or not I can spell Pittsburgh, or about the quality. It's just,
right.
I'm sloppy. I'm sloppy, and I was writing, and I wasn't writing on a thing that used. That's the other thing. I rely on spell check more than I should.
Yeah.
And I wasn't using a spell check program, so.
My favorite defense is I'm a creative.
Yeah, I'm a creative. There are people,
and it's creative writing.
People. It's creative writing.
Creative
it's
spelling.
Also creative spelling.
Creative grammar.
Yeah. Do we have anything else on your side?
You know what? I think we're winding down, and what I'd like to do is maybe even, last week we talked about not going viral. Maybe even next week we could talk about the importance of having a distribution plan, which is if your idea for your business is we're going to do something and it's going to go viral. That is not a distribution plan.
No.
So this is like networks and in areas and stuff that and it's good to share or how to share.
It's funny for me. One of the things that I've been dealing with, and I guess we will talk about this next week, is there is so much social that I'm supposed to be doing that I haven't been all right. I took a cheap shot at a politician last night, and that felt good. I said I was glad that he had cancer. I didn't say I was. Yes, I did. I'll tell you later. And I took a couple of cheapish shots at my friends who are, Daily Times reporters or whatever on Twitter. Right. But I haven't done that in a while, and now that it's my job, I'm not more careful. It's just not as much fun. Right. And so I have to find a way to make being a jerk on Twitter fun again.
Sounds like I need to go back to the radio station.
That would help.
I tell you what, you can be a jerk on my new vlog. You can be the YouTube comments.
But you see, that's what Yelp is for. I'm above that. If you want to pay me, then I'll write comments on your YouTube blog. Speaking of paying, we are looking for a girl blogger to write girl blogs about beer. If any of you are girls and interested, my old job is available. It's not much money, but it's not writing for free. So Tony at oceancity.com. And we're supposed to do. Go ahead.
And that's for oceancity.com.
That's for shortcraftbeer.com.
Short craft beer. That's what it is.
And we had a new sign-off policy, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember either.
All right. Well, you can find me on that's our social stuff.
Okay.
You can find me on my name backwards, OSSURYNOT, on all the social things. I thought it was clever. I was mistaken because it's complicated, but it's so complicated that I'm the only one that has any of them. So
you're so far above there.
I'm so far above, I'm below.
You can find me on my name, Todd DeHart, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, GCFLProductions.com and GoodCleanFunLife.com.
And may Todd give you the sense to live in a small town.
We'll see you next week at Happy Hour.
Cheers.
Bing.